Hello, Splash of Color event. This is Katie Trainer, mural artist, but also I've written a book and they've asked me to do some readings for you today. So I wrote this book, it took me 7 years, and if you press it like this, it actually squeaks. Actually, I have animal toys holding the pages to show you, but I'll be doing a reading from it. And so this took me 7 years to write. It's about traveling the country using positive thoughts to create positive circumstances, hence its title, What Are the Chances? You may recognize me without glasses on like that. However, I'm going to be doing the reading with glasses on because I started doing YouTube channel videos wearing these because it's fun to be dramatic with them and stuff. So anyway, I am a full-time mural painter, but what I do is I also love to travel. And so this represents some of that. So its title is What Are the Chances? Because it's about saying, hey, this thing would be cool if it existed in life, or like getting myself into the state of thinking and vibration of awareness of something that I'd like to have, and therefore hopefully it exists, and then when it does, you say, whoa, what are the chances? So it's about exhilaration and life. It's broken up into 3 portions. Part 1 is titled The Awakening, which is an act of waking from sleep. So it's about like coming to your life, which takes place from the coast, on the way down from Erie, Pennsylvania, down not even the coast. I hardly did the coast. I went like down into the mountains, and it took me 27 days to get down to Florida on my first road trip. Part 2 is the enchantment, which is the feeling of great pleasure or delight. So it's, finding that portion of yourself and realizing it for the first time and being like, oh my gosh, I didn't know life had these things to offer. Like learning about people that lived on boats. I didn't know that existed. I thought you had to live in a house for your whole life, but like learning about different ways of living. And then part 3, which I'll be doing a little bit of reading from, is the liberation, the act of setting someone free from imprisonment, slavery, or oppression or release. And the second variation of that would be freedom from limits on thoughts or behavior. So that's where my focus was, is limiting myself and my own personal behavior patterns and figuring out these cycles that I was in that I wasn't necessarily loving in my life. And then identifying that on the open road, and then hopefully liberating myself from it. So 360 some pages, 350 pages. Some of it's pictures in the end, but most of it is text. It's a nice novel, but it hopefully guides you through if you were to read it one day. Anyway, the part that I'm going to be reading is chapter 37, which would be day 30 of the road trip. Let's see. I thought I was prepared for that. I might have flipped through this a little bit further, that I actually wanted to read from with student appropriate text. So, what are the chances? Let me find it and I'll mesh these videos together. I found us. We are on chapter 34, which is page 226 and 227. We're in Venice, Florida. I had just arrived there. This was the first day I'm waking up in this area, and I was invited to go to a yoga class on the beach at sunrise. So I'm waking up, drinking coffee, and that's where we kick it off. Trying to get myself into the zone of the book again. All right. I wake up alone in a bed and look around, confused by where I am. As I reach for a glass of water by my bedside stand, I realize that I'm in Venice, and I'm about to go to yoga class. A smile spreads across my face as I get something like a hazelnut moonlight surge, a caffeine in the mouth, and I hear the celestial sound of fresh brew being delivered as I observe the organic foods in her pantry. When I first met her in Lancaster, Pennsylvania at HAC, Harrisburg Area Community College, we shared a geography class together. She sat beside me and was such a neat person. She would bring me goodies and usually little health snacks like compressed nuts and all sorts of fun things. She always treated me so well, and now here I am in her Florida house. And I then drink my coffee with her, catch up on life for the last 2 years since she moved down there. And then we moved down to the beach. I arrive at my yoga spot and there are several people standing around, a bunch laying out their mats. I choose a spot on the back corner because I consider it to be less noticeable if I'm not directly in line with everything. Since I didn't have a pass to be there, I was afraid I'd get kicked out. It's yoga, but whatever. I nearly erupt with happiness. My first yoga on the Gulf Coast. I hadn't even touched the water yet. I listen to the small waves while I do some pre-yoga stretches. After the amount of driving I've been doing lately, I deserve to have a nice, relaxing morning of yoga to reconnect me to my divine spirit and self. This class begins with a peaceful older woman on a large blanket in the center. And so we'll skip these 2 paragraphs, but it circles around. It ends up being like 50, 60 people on the beach, like this huge circle of humans, all ages. It was really beautiful as the sun rose behind us. There is no combined self-improvement in the community I'm spawned from. Born and raised, yep. That's what I like, and I like what I know. I observe my own personal pessimism of my past, and I breathe into it, and I let it go, filling my mind with white light and peace. Namaste. The whole class chants, and we breathe together. So after this yoga class, I identify that, hey, I haven't even touched the water yet. People disperse. I'm on the beach by myself. I'm like, I need to go touch this water and like be a part of the Gulf Coast since it's my first time here. So I go out, immediately jump in the water, just freezing, get out. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go for a run down the beach. And I just started running like as hard as I could. There was this, if you look down the beach, there was this little cove, this inlet there. And I just decided I'm going to go to that. So I didn't know what it was at the time, but you know, I felt compelled to do it. So we move down to the next page at the bottom. There's no time to trip up. I laugh and keep going, feeling the droplets of freedom sprinkle the backs of my legs with every step into the water. I splash it up everywhere, and I don't care that my shorts are getting soaked. I want to be part of the Gulf of Mexico because it's already a part of me. I finally reach the palm tree line where I stop and begin my progressive relaxation breathing. But I'm so tired. Running a mile in sand is not the simplest task, especially for someone who's unpracticed at running. I say hello to 2 older gentlemen while I pass by them. A big goofy grin across my face as I catch my breath. But I was compelled to talk to these guys, and I didn't know why at the time. So I go out to the water, I encounter a blue heron and a fisherman, and he makes a silly joke about what the blue heron wants to eat for breakfast. But I had just dropped off a girl that was hitchhiking by airplane. So I dropped her off the day prior in St. Augustine, or no, it was Jacksonville, Florida. So I dropped her off in Jacksonville, Florida, and she took off. So I passed those men with the old watercrafts I had passed earlier, and I asked them what they're doing. They explain they're from Australia and they're ocean kayaks. I realized that the people from Florida do their best to protect themselves from the sun, whereas everybody else I've ever encountered in my life tries to be in the sun as much as they can because they only have so much of it. And this was a big awakening at this point. And so we keep talking about the one guy and his mustache mentioned something about skies and clouds. Bell went off in my head. What do you mean by that? I asked, genuinely interested by the strange sentence. He points to his buddy next to him and says, well, Ronnie here, he's a pilot. Ronnie looks shy and waves his hands in front of him while being certain to say that he's not a commercial pilot, just flies for the enjoyment alone. I ask him what he means. Now, because I had met this girl prior, I was like, I want to be in an airplane. I want to go on a flight in the sky just the way she did. Well, I have a plane I built, and I try to take it up once a week. The sparks start flying in my head. I think of Skyfly Gypsy. What if that's incredible. I just met a girl who had been hitchhiking by airplanes for the last 8 months. I tell the guys more about my experience with her, and they mention having seen a piloting magazine with her in it before. I can see the world of opportunity opening up. I see the trees clearing and the rain dissipating in my own mind. The law of attraction seems to have proven itself an interesting candidate for the most influential thing I've ever known. And this is just the start. So, as you can identify, I talk to these guys a little longer until they until I say, do you know anyone who wants to fill a seat and take anyone up in the next few days? He looks at me kind of funny and gets a bit nervous. I can feel the links of life connecting one by one in perfect harmony. I am so scared I can barely move, but I do not let go of eye contact with this man. I hold my ground, full of confidence, and keep my head up high, my posture straight, in hopes of showing I'm worthy and strong enough to trust. Well, I guess I'm going up. He looks at his friend for help, with a shaky expression on his face. I do not step down and retreat, though. All armies within my being firmly hold their positions. I guess you could ride with me. The bells of victory ring and the sirens start to squeal in the streets of my mind as the Super Bowl of life is won by my team. Yes. Wow, that's wonderful. When are you going? Keep your composure steady. Today, I'm taking it up, say around 2. He looks at the sun. Yeah, meet me at the gates of the small airport at 2 and I'll take you up. My head practically explodes. And that's all I have time to read right now. But you can imagine I end up on that airplane. And it's very safe, and I have a safe friendship in close region that is able to like identify my safety in the moment as well. So she has all the contacts, all the information. The whole entire situation was incredible, but I'm not talking anymore about that to you. So thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed the book. It's published as K.A. Trainer. My mural work is Katie Trainer. But what are the chances? Second one is starting. I started it before COVID as I was on a road trip again, and COVID happened during it. So the book's kind of on hold. I'm not sure what the angle of it yet, but it's something will be coming soon. So stay tuned. Thank you very much.